Hi, I'm Chris Ahrens. I'm the Assistant Professor of Instruction and Marketing at the University of Texas, and also the Assistant Chair of the Marketing Department at the McCombs School of Business. Today, we're going to talk about an AI world where principles matter more than prompts, because principles always will deliver the clearest results, even in an AI world. So to get started, we have an AI marketing crisis right now. Brands know that differentiation is important, but yet boldness is kind of being pushed to the back. It's not showing up, and people know they need to be bold in their marketing, but only 6% actually exhibit bold examples of marketing and behavior in what they do. And the damning feature of this is 25% of AI initiatives actually deliver the ROI that's expected. So we have this huge gap that's been created right now where AI has this huge promise. Everybody's betting on it, but it's really not delivering it. And part of the reason is because AI gravitates towards the mean. Now, I know many of you probably know this, but AI has an absolute fundamental feature is that it's always going to give you the modal answer, or the most common answer. And the problem is that when you're looking to do something different and unique and groundbreaking, the modal answer will always give you kind of what everybody else does. It will not kind of push to the edge. Matter of fact, I've tried this many times. When I ask for the craziest examples, the most outrageous examples, it gives me the most common modal crazy answer. So it's never going to the edges. It's always going to the middle. And this is just functionally how LLMs work. And so it's really ill suited for strategy and disruptive thinking. As a matter of fact, we actually tried a couple of experiments at the University of Texas where I had multiple classes, multiple teams using multiple AI tools try to develop strategies and disruptive campaigns for brands. And in almost every case, it was unable to come up with anything really unique and different on the strategy end. And it really struggled on the disruptive and the groundbreaking end. And that is because it kept regurgitating the same things over and over again. And that's not what strategy and creativity is about. It is about envisioning a future where you can win. And the actual cost is pretty amazing. When we all share these prompts, and I think I did some research in the last couple of weeks, I think there's about 47,000 new marketing prompts that are created and published each day on sites like LinkedIn and elsewhere. Teams are using these, they're customizing them, they're using internal prompts that they're creating. AI is actually creating its own prompts. And all of this is creating a sea of sameness that you can see with this image on the screen right now, where all these things tend to look alike. They tend to sound alike, and not just within a brand, but outside of brands, and also across brands and across categories. And with all of this conversion, what we have is 100% visibility, or invisibility, I should say. And it's making it harder and harder. Now there's new tools. Google just a few days ago published a thing called Pompeii, which will allow you to create social posts in as easy as a couple of seconds just by uploading your URL. That is amazing, groundbreaking technology. But the problem is the more people that use it, we are going to get more noise in the AI world, in the marketing world, in our markets, and less signals. So it's absolutely imperative that when we talk about AI and marketing, we're not leaning into it so hard that we forget what great marketing is. And you can see that in an example here from KitKat. KitKat did 2 AI ads, and the first one on the top was, hey, we made an ad with KitKat and we made some posts with KitKat, and it was all done with AI. And that meant we were able to take a break and not do real marketing. Well, as you might imagine, their customers and the market reacted, and it wasn't very favorable. Nobody cares. There's no reason to get interested. There's no kind of jobs to be done thinking, which is a big part of marketing and doing marketing right. There's no strategy. It was just lazy. But then they came back and they said, hey, we found a research paper, and all the best marketing and marketing campaigns are built on insights. And they found a research paper that said AI is better if you simply put in the phrase, take a break. That's it. So people would put in, take a break, and then give them their prompt, and AI was more accurate and gave better results. That became the foundation for the AI, have an AI break with KitKat, which is one of the most memorable and best campaigns that come out using AI in the last few years. And that's what we're trying to do, is create distinctiveness from the principled thinking of what really great marketing is, and then translate that and use AI with light touches. AI is best use and best application is to automate the mundane to free up human creativity. When we do that, like they did in the bottom ad, we get something that's absolutely amazing, something that's groundbreaking, and something that customers probably can't resist and actually want to act on. But in order to do that, you have to have the courage. You have to think about these things. You have to push back, and you have to have a team that supports you. And the courage test is right here. If you thought about your last few campaigns, were they really honestly something that only you could own, that only you could put your logo on, that only you and your team and your brand could really, really take to the market, and it would reaffirm your brand values in everything you do? And if you're not scared, you're probably converged. And I'll give you a couple of examples of this. When brands do it right, it actually looks amazing. But there's been numerous times, in fact, one of my friends was going to come out with a crypto campaign, and she actually pulled it back the day it was ready to launch because a competitor came out with almost an identical crypto campaign. Now, the cost was not insignificant. It was $5 or $10 million, 6 months of work. Many of people in marketing would not have the courage to step back and say, you know what? It's better to take a break and come back and remind them that what kind of brand we are, what our values are, what's important, how you can differentiate us and see us as a unique entity and solving your problems, than to just show up and waste $6 million. They pulled it back. And that's really what the creativity test is about. And if you look around the internet and social and all the marketing, you will see there are some brands that are actually doing this right. Of course, everybody loves to talk about Liquid Death. Liquid Death has made an absolute multi-billion-dollar brand out of doing divergent thinking. And I think we all know the stories of that, and it's just beautiful. But Yeti does it with storytelling. Yeti talks about ruggedness and is leaning into a tribe of people who want this kind of aesthetic and are buying not the brand, but the brand values. Duolingo is absolutely amazing. Matter of fact, they have created something with their characters and their sound and their music and this owl and everything else to make what really is a lousy little language app into something that is a multi-billion-dollar business. And Salesforce has also done the same thing with AI and with IBM with Watson, and really kind of talking about brand values and what customers really want from a product, not just trying to sell something, but remind them that we're going to help them do something amazing and do something extraordinary. And this goes across B2B and B2C. The hard part is it's probably easier for B2C companies to do this, but great B2B companies will be doing this. They will show up differently, and they will use that AI to augment the human creativity and come up with something that's truly amazing. So it really boils down to two choices, which you can see here. I know that everybody is on this kick to be efficient, and I get it. And there's, the CEO is talking to Wall Street saying, we're going to kill a bunch of jobs and we're going to be hyper efficient. But you know what? Efficiency only gets you efficiency. And at some point in time, your efficiency, as all of your marketing becomes as efficient as humanly possible. And then you are left with nothing. You are literally left for dead, because once you're too hyper efficient, you actually start reversing polarity and actually become less efficient as you keep trying to make things more efficient. But if you think about creativity, you use AI as a sounding board, as an intern, as somebody where you can get ideas and inspiration, check ideas and inspiration, then you can become distinct and uncomfortable. And you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable, because that is the bold path. As everybody starts using AI, you are going to find that marketing is going to get harder. It's already gotten harder for me and my clients, because everybody can post with a $20 tool. It looks good. It's functional. It's actually visually appealing in most cases. This slide was generated with AI, which I'm sure many of you already figured out. But the issue is, how do we provide meaning? How do we add value to our market, to our customers? How do we do something that gets them to feel something? The best marketing starts with insights, but quickly gets to emotions. When we hit the emotions of what our market wants, we win. And that's what most marketing doesn't do right now. And it's becoming less and less with AI because AI doesn't want to do emotional marketing. It wants to do feature and benefit marketing. And that's not what the market really responds to, because meaning always lives on the bold and distinctive path. So the question you might have right now is, how do we get there? Well, this is where I think I can really help and help provide some value and help give you some divergent thinking that probably isn't kind of widely being talked about. And my theory and what I've seen in my work and also with my classes for both undergraduate and graduate level and executives is that principles always beat prompts. And this is where AI becomes hyper effective, but it doesn't kind of drive the ship. It simply is using us to find those things where AI can help. So I need an image for a slide. That's great for AI. I need to use AI as a sounding board. I want to learn some things faster. Those are all great AI tools. So we can use this kind of stuff. We can say, hey, there's data. How can we parse this data faster? How can we do customer interviews? How can we use AI to approximate customer interviews so we can move faster and run more experiments? These are all things that AI is really uniquely suited to and will be for the long time. But you have to have the right marketing principles behind it in order to load it up with the right thinking. Otherwise, you're going to get AI slop and generic stuff. And that starts with trust. Trust is one of the biggest things that is not being talked about right now. Liz Taylor, a friend of mine who is the former head of Apple Creative and also of Leo Burnett, wrote an absolutely wonderful article on that. Trust is the competitive moat that we're all missing right now. We're talking about efficiency, but we need trust. Trust internally. Trust that the teams are going to be able to do their best work. They're going to be able to make mistakes. They're going to be able to learn from them. They're going to be able to run experiments. They're going to do the right things because the team and the organization is behind them. Then we also have to have trust that these tools are going to work the way they're going to work, that we have trust in our data, that we have trust in our customer insights, that we have trust in the knowledge that we know, and we don't just use it quickly, because speed in digital is not always as effective as most people think it is. So if we have trust behind the scenes, internally, externally, and we have trust across the board, then we can actually start using AI to its full potential. And I will just remind most of you one thing, that if you are not frustrated with AI, you are probably not using it right. If you are not frustrated that it keeps forgetting things, it keeps giving you the same pat answers that are uninteresting, if you're not swearing at AI, which actually makes it give you better answers, then you are not using it to the right level and to the fullest potential of it, because that's what we should be doing. It is AI plus humans where the real interesting thing comes from and the real interesting results come from. And to do this, I've actually created what I call the Digital 15. These are 15 core principles on how to do marketing and, for the most part, digital marketing right. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, these are not all my principles. Most of these are from unquestioned experts in the field. The first one, Where to Play and How to Win, is from Roger Martin, who is absolutely the most strategic thinker in the world. He wrote a groundbreaking book on where to play and how to win. And that is his principle. But it's strategy in a nutshell. Most people, most executives don't know strategy by those two questions, where to play and how to win. So if we start with that, we can start loading AI with some really good information, some really solid foundational thinking. Second one is, what does the right brand do that's worthy of evangelism? If you look at this, there's a perfect case study going on right now. Southwest used to embody this. Everything that Southwest did was always about the right brand. When they would post one of their stories, or somebody would post a story about how they love Southwest, what happened was absolutely amazing. The customers would tell their version of the Southwest story. I'm not going to go through all of these. You can clearly see them, but there's great principles from Marcus Sheridan, They Ask You Answer, which is almost, I think, a 15-year-old principle at this point in time. But when it first came out, it was for SEO value. Now, this is the cornerstone of GEO, or generative search optimization. So you show up in that AI box on Google, is by answering people's questions more completely, more honestly, and in more depth and more value, both in text and in video. So these things have stood the test of time. These are the kind of things that absolutely make AI great. And if you have great marketing and you have AI working together, then you can get something great. And you can see all of these at thedigital15.com, but they're right here for you as well. And again, these are from absolute unquestioned leaders. There's some in here from Rory Sutherland, Roger Dooley, Jay Baer, contents of value, useful and valuable that you would pay for it. These are the cornerstones of it. So the challenge I have for all of you is, what are you not going to do? It's real easy to say what we're going to do, and it's real easy to say for your executives to say, we want to use AI and we want to be more efficient and we want to get rid of jobs and we want to get rid of roles and all of that stuff. But that's just a gut reaction. It's really a knee-jerk reaction, as a better way of saying it. They don't actually do really interesting things with those little platitudes. The real interesting stuff comes when we say we're not going to do something. We're going to draw a line in the sand that we will not cross. One of those things might be, we're not going to just post content that's all about us that says, buy my product, here's a discount code. I firmly believe, and there's ample data, that the best brands do an 80-20 rule. 80% of the content that's posted is helpful to their customer, their target, and the people they're trying to reach. And only 20% is actually content that says, buy my product, here's a new product, here's a discount code or a coupon. Wendy's actually came up with what I think is probably one of the most genius things in marketing, which is, let's make friends online and then invite them back to lunch. And I think any brand, even a B2B brand, could use that with absolute fortitude and change the way they think about it, especially a B2B brand. If you went out there and talked to people like real people, made friends with those engineers, those executives, whoever your target market is for your B2B product, and then said, oh, by the way, we have a tool, we have a pack of software, we have something that's going to help you do your job better and make you more effective. That's the secret sauce to really doing something. But you've got to say, we're not going to just commit to a posting schedule. We're not going to just put stuff out all the time. We're not going to let more than 20% be this kind of buy my product kind of stuff. We're going to lean into great marketing. Great marketing has stood the test of time. And then we can use AI to make it hyper effective, hyper efficient, and hyper quick. But it starts here, because principles will always outlast prompts. That is the one thing that I hope you get from this talk, and certainly from this conference and all of the other places that you are learning about and trying to grow with AI. The tools will get cheaper. They will get faster. There will be more of them. They'll be more customized. They're going to be more integrated. That's a given. And they're going to keep getting better. But the problem is that we need humans. Humans buy from humans. They don't buy from AI. No matter how many things that ChatGPT comes up with, browsers, ways we can then automate things and help use AI to be more personalized, more customized, make the journey easier and faster, because we know more about these people. AI is an augmentation tool. It is not a primary tool for driving marketing. And the people who use it, you've already seen 100 case studies, I'm sure, this year, of people misusing AI, misusing what it looks like. And that's not where we should be. If we chase efficiency, we disappear, or if we choose distinctiveness, we can matter. I really hope you enjoyed this. And if you have any questions, please reach out. Thank you.